Hey guys, this is Travis Engel with Mile High MMA Network. We are joined at the Grudge Training Center in Wheat Ridge, Colorado with none other than Brandon the Ruckus Thatch. How you doing, bud?
Very well, how are you?
Good, good. Now arguably, not even arguably, most people have you ranked the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in Colorado. What's your thoughts on returning home for, really, it's almost been what, almost 18 months since you returned here?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been in Colorado, and anytime I get a fight in Colorado in front of my hometown, family, friends, and fans, you get that extra added boost of energy, and I just want to make sure that I show up for the 303 fans.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it'll be, actually, it's about 6 days away from your actual fight. You had a late, kind of like a last-minute opponent change, and it looks like it's going to be Mike Rhodes, somebody that's out of Duke Rufus's camp, just like Sergio Pettis, that's also going to be on the card. What's your thoughts on the opponent changes? Does it really matter?
You know, I've come to fight. You know, I've had a few opponents canceled. That's why I haven't fought in so long. So, you know, at this point, they could have thrown my mom in the ring and I would have fought, because it's been so long that I need to fight. You know, I'll fight whoever they put in front of me. You know, if it was a good opponent, bad opponent, you know, I need to be in the cage fighting. So when they threw him in, it didn't really matter who it was. I'm just lucky to have a fight, you know. So whoever it is, I'm going to fight the same and end it, you know, end it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Well, like you said, as fast as possible. Your last 2 victories was at the Instinct MMA promotions, and they pretty much lasted seconds. What's your thoughts on that? And it's just really, it don't matter how long it takes you just to get the W.
You know, I don't look for the fast win or anything like that, but at the same time, if I see an opening, I'm going to capitalize on it. And you know, I've been very lucky in my career. I wouldn't say lucky, you know, because it's, you know, it's not luck. I've done it a few times, and it's something that if I see the opening, I'm gonna take it. It's not something I look for and kind of just seek out. Like I'm not trying to get an under-minute victory every time, but if it comes, I'm going to take it. And if it goes all 3 rounds, then I'll take that too. And I'm prepared. I've prepared with some of the best in the world, with the TriStar family, Faraz Zahabi, and the coaches, and George St. Pierre, Francis Carmont. You know, the list goes on and on and on out there. As well as, you know, my day-to-day training in Colorado with Grudge and Trevor Whitman, and all my training partners out here are some of the best in the world too. So I'm prepared to go 3 rounds if needed.
As far as Brandon Thatch, one of the most dynamic athletes in the sport. You know, I train with the best here at Grudge. I've trained with some of the best athletes in the world, and Brandon, I mean, he's right up there at the top. I feel bad for whoever's in front of Brandon, because he can get it done in so many different ways, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he brings this fight.
And speaking of TriStar, you just came back from about a week ago, it seems like, on there. You obviously was training partners for GSP's last fight against Carlos Condit, and he obviously just came back, so you were his training partner for against Nick Diaz, which is actually tonight. What's your thoughts on the whole TriStar family, and also is there a little difference as far as like altitude or anything, or is it just kind of just the difference in fighters?
Well, I mean, anytime you go to TriStar, you got top level guys. You know, George obviously is the best in the world, arguably the best pound for pound fighter in the world, and you know, he's the best in the world for a reason. You know, his coaching staff is the best in the world as far as getting him ready. They're smart. In the manner that they get him ready. They're prepared on all levels. You know, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. He prepares for cardio, conditioning, and the gymnastics. All the stuff that he does is very, very well put together, and it's very smart. So they do that very well. And then you know, as far as the athletes, they're constantly getting new athletes because of the fighters' dorms. You know, you guys got guys coming in every 2 weeks that are doing a few weeks for their camps there. So you're constantly getting new bodies. You're constantly getting that nervous energy from working with new guys. So it's a great atmosphere. It's very motivating, and it's you know, I'm very lucky to be a TriStar affiliate.
Now, obviously, we've seen the shenanigans, especially with Diaz and GSP at yesterday's weigh-ins and stuff like that. Have you seen, as far as being a training partner, have you seen the different mentality with GSP from the Condit fight to the Diaz fight?
I feel like the Condit fight was, I mean, and I don't want to say this because I respect Condit very much, but at the same time, I feel like it was more or less George getting out of his own head. You know, it was more or less him getting the fact that he was coming back from his injury and seeing what he has, if he was still there, you know, if he still was the George that he thought he was. And I think that was his biggest challenge, was getting out of his own mind. And I think this one is motivated. It's personal. You know, he's not going to make any stupid mistakes. He's a smart fighter, and you know, Diaz comes to fight too. You know, I'm a Diaz fan in the fact that he always comes to fight. You know, he's a tough fighter, and he always brings a fight. But at the same time, you know, he's kind of a mouth, and he's got something to prove too. So it has all the makes for a fireworks show.
Yeah, exactly, and especially all the back and forth with the press conference and stuff. It's just kind of crazy as far as everything goes. Have you noticed the difference as far as his training, where he's a little bit more open to you as far as sparring with you between the Condit and that? Is he a little bit more changing up his game a little bit as far as his training, maybe less gymnastics or something?
You know what? Anytime you're working with somebody, whether you know they're your equal or if they got one thing that you can learn from them, you should take that one thing and add it to your arsenal. And you know, anytime I was working with George and I had something that I thought he could use, he was very open to soaking it in, whether it's, you know, drilling something different for him or if it's just little things that I could give or add to his arsenal. He was very open to accepting him and drilling him, and that's what makes him really great. Is, you know, there's no ego involved with his training, and I don't really see too much change. Like I said, they're very smart about what they do out there. It's very calculated and everything's very precise. It's not like they just kind of go through the motions out there. So, you know, every camp is pretty calculated for him. So I didn't really see too big of a difference.
Yeah. Now, as far as George goes, outside of the fighting, outside of the training, is there anything that you could tell us that maybe fans don't get to see about George, or maybe like different music that nobody would really see him that he's into, or anything like that?
That Marky Mark song, Good
Vibrations.
Yeah. He likes that song. that kind of made me laugh a little bit. But you know, outside the gym, he's, you know, on camera you see him, he's a classy fighter. Even when he's like kind of talking smack or whatever, he's still pretty classy about it. He's not really
disrespectful.
He's not disrespectful. And here's the thing: is he's like that outside the ring. You know, anytime a fan comes up to him and wants to take a picture, he takes a picture. You know, no matter how many times, like, we've been in the club and I mean 15, 20, 30, 40, people just keep coming up, and he takes the time to take pictures with every single person, say hi to everyone, and be very respectful. And you know, I think he's very mindful of the fact that his fans are what make him, and you know, he's just a classy guy.
Yeah.
You can't help but respect him. You can't help but like him if you hang out with him for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like too, because, you know, when I met him probably roughly about 3.5, 4 years ago here at Grudge, you know, when he was training out here, it just seemed like he was always up for you and stuff like that. He didn't always question you. It wasn't, you know, kind of a prick where, you know, he kind of always wonders what you're doing at all times and sign everything.
Didn't have that superstar mentality.
Yeah, didn't have a diva attitude.
And that's how it should be, man. Like, we're not out there curing cancer or doing like super amazingly great things for the world, you know. And for us to have fans and people that look up to us and, like, you know, put us on that pedestal, it's an honor, you know, and we should take the time to be respectful to our fans, because without them, you know, we wouldn't be here, and this sport really is driven by the fans. So you know, it's awesome to see him take care of and be respectful to his fans. It's nice.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you're going to be the main event against Mike Rhodes on the RFA 7, which is Resurrection Fighting Alliance. It's its debut here in Colorado. President is Ed Soares. If people know who Ed Soares is, manager of Machida, Anderson Silva, multiple fighters in the Black House. What's your thoughts on kind of RFA coming out here, and have you had a chance to actually talk to Ed Soares about just kind of like the promotion going next Friday night?
I haven't really been in contact with Ed Soares at all. I kind of just focus on my training right now. You know, my diet is killing me to where that's all I really need to be focusing on. So I haven't really talked too much. I'm excited for the promotion. It's a great promotion. Ed Soares does a very good job, and you know, they're tied in with the UFC and have good relationships with them as well. So it should be great for everyone in the sport. Colorado, you know, Sven Beam has tied in with them, so it should have all the makings of a good show. Yeah,
and obviously a no-brainer question from fans of yours and people even looking outside that really don't know you. What's your thoughts of this upcoming win? Will it basically get you the ticket into the UFC? Is it something that you really don't think about? It just depends on what your management and everything thinks, or what's your thought?
Every MMA fighter, whether you're amateur or professional, you want to get to the UFC. That's the big boy leagues. That means you're a top level fighter. You're considered among the best, and one of these days I will absolutely be able to lace one of those or strap one of those gloves up. There's no doubt in my mind that I will be there. I just need to continue handling my fights in an impressive manner, and the outcome will handle itself, and I will be there someday. But right now, all I'm thinking about is Mike Rhodes and the RFA, and after that, then we have options. But until then, it's Mike Rhodes and the RFA. And I'll take the steps, and as long as I keep continuing to take the steps and handle my business in the cage, I'll be there someday. And when it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Resurrection Fighting Alliance 7 takes place at the First Bank Center in Brookville, Colorado, March 22nd, which is next Friday. You have a stat card. You got other Colorado boys as well as Jeremy Kimball. You got Nick Macias, and we also got Shannon Culpepper, who's kind of a little hidden secret in the women's division here. So, and also another guy that's kind of been on a huge streak as of late, which some people thought it would happen and other people didn't, is your boy Vinny Lopez. What's your thoughts on him?
Vinny is, outside of the cage, is one of my best friends and family members. I love him to death, and can't say nicer things about him. He had a rough start, and if you ask anybody that puts their heart and soul into this sport, it's a rough thing to go through. The losses that he had, and a lot of people wouldn't have had the heart to kind of nut up and
keep going.
Yeah. It's you really do put your heart and soul into this sport, and a lot of people wouldn't have had the drive to get past some of the hurdles that he's gone through, and it's amazing to see him doing well, and I see it on a consistent basis in the cage or in practice, and so I don't want to say it was luck or anything like that, but every now and then stuff happens,
you never know.
So you never know. But for him to drive through and to be on the winning streak that he is, and show in the cage the fighter that I see on a day-to-day basis is amazing, and I expect nothing but greatness from him, and just him prevailing through that rough time just shows what he has, and it will absolutely translate into these next couple fights, and you will see big things from Vinny the Assault Lopez.
Nice. Now, who's some of the people that you would like to thank as well as sponsors?
My Grudge training, Trevor Whitman, all my training partners. Vinny Lopez is obviously my favorite training partner. He pushes me on a daily basis, mentally and physically, helps me in every way. My strength and conditioning coach, Eric Telly at Seven Hawkins. Faraz Zahabi over at TriStar, George St. Pierre, good luck, brother, tonight. Nate, I want to wish you luck as well. I got Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. You guys need supplements that work, that get me through my training camp. Go check them out. I have Ruckus Apparel is a company that I'm tied with that has amazing, cool stuff. It's not all fight gear. It's kind of a lifestyle brand. Bleed Out Fight Gear, who has recently come up with me, and if I'm missing anybody else, I apologize, but low carbs.
Okay, and speaking of Ruckus Apparel, you have your first walkout shirt that I've ever known about. What's something that people could get before Friday, before your fight?
You go on ruckusapparel.com, and there's all sorts of stuff. My walkout shirt, or my lifestyle shirt, is on there, and it's a samurai shirt. It's really sick. If you live in Colorado, you should check it out. It's got the 303 on there. We try to keep the Ruckus Army representing Colorado as much as possible, and it's got men and women's style clothing, and like I said, it's not so much a fight gear company, it's a lifestyle company. So you got all kinds of stuff from Martin Luther King's mugshot with causing a ruckus to the Bangarang boys from Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
So just go check it out and see what's up, and then make your orders and represent on the RFA next Friday with the Ruckus Army. Yeah.
Last thing, tickets. You got tickets still available?
Tickets still for sale. You can hit me up on Facebook. Just search Brandon Thatch, or come see me tonight at Boone's Tavern. Watch the UFC, and I'll have them there as well.
Cool. Thanks, bro.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.